Yes, yes, yes. What's going on, world? This is your man, Buddy Rahming, and we are back at it with another episode of the Yeah Buddy podcast. And if this is your first time tuning in, I thank you for checking out the podcast. And if you are a returning friend to the show, hey, man, welcome back, y'all. Grab a seat, tune in. We got a great episode for y'all. Like, you know how we do on every episode. I try to bring some of my friends in the entertainment business. We chop it up, see what we got going on, talk about our crazy ass adventures working in show business. And this episode is like the same, like no other. I got my friend. He's a very talented actor, director, mainly a screenwriter. He's had his films shown at film festivals all around the country, from Europe all the way to Milan and all these other crazy places. I'm pretty sure he's going to tell you about it today, y'all. But for right now, I want y'all to make it loud and make it live for my good friend, Mr. James Paul Nelson, in the building, y'all.
How's it going? How's everybody doing?
Show.
Happy to be here talking to a good friend of mine about what we do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for coming in onto the podcast, James. Man, first off, like, how did we meet?
We met. How did we meet? That is.
It was a very interesting, because it was always like, because we like I would introduce you to people, and then you would always introduce me to people, but like
how did we?
Because I always felt like the people who I always thought it was the people who you introduced me to, or the person who I introduced you to was like the person who how we first met. But then they was always like, no, you introduced me through James or something like that. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, that is funny that we don't even know
how this happened and stuff.
How we met, but we had people that we knew from each other, and connected with through each other, and they're telling us that you guys knew each other before. You guys,
that was a very That's something that's always.
I can't even remember.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out at some point throughout this podcast, how this whole thing got together and stuff like that. But either way, man, you're here, man. I'm happy to have you on the show, man. Last time I had you on, we was on the Funny Business podcast, but now we're here on the Yeah Buddy podcast, so we can catch up with what you had going on and stuff. Last time we chopped it up. What's been going on in the world of James Paul Nelson?
Well, like, as you know, like, I had a crazy situation October 21st, 2023. I almost died in a car accident that put me in a coma for 34 days. And like, I fractured my C6 and 7 vertebra in my neck. So technically I'm supposed to be a quadriplegic right now. And then I had a traumatic brain injury, and that so like my brain was bleeding. And if you notice this little thing right here, that little like scar there was an actual tube going through my head to drain the blood from my brain. And then so they were paranoid about like what I would become when I do get out of that coma. Like, they knew I would get up, like they knew they because I hadn't died yet, because like the thing, like the they were seeing different things. But like, while this happened too, my lungs collapsed twice. So like, all of those things already, like the doctors were fearing the worst. They were preparing my family for the absolute worst that could potentially happen. But when I came to in the last week of November, they were so shocked, because like I was talking like I literally, I thought I had just been oversleeping for 2 or 3 days, and I was in the hospital for some reason. So I was like, "Can I go home?" And they were like, "Can you go home? Are you serious? Like, your crazy ass was in a coma for 30 something days." And and then all of the what I just mentioned, all those things, they were like, "We really thought you were gonna be," they thought I'd be in a vegetative state, in a wheelchair, bedridden, complete. They even told my parents that, like, don't be surprised if he's talking to you like a 7-year-old, and he doesn't remember anything. So me remembering even you, and like having the conversation of what we just talked about, I'm not supposed to be able to do any of these things. It's crazy. And like, all of last year, I actually had well, two short films killing in the film festival circuit. It was screening all around the world, and I was a semi-finalist or a finalist in many places, but in 4 places I actually won. My actress won for best actress. I won for best writing. We won for best independent, best indie short film, low budget. Because that's the thing. Like some festivals have a category where, because they like, it's not fair because there are some people that have short films. Yes, they have short films, but they spend $200,000, $300,000 on a short film.
Mm.
You know, they made that short film look like a freaking movie, basically, or whatever, or they had that kind of production onto it. So that there are certain film festivals that they have a qualification of, like, if your film was under $5,000 or less, that's indie short film, low budget. Anything above that is what it is above that.
Mm.
And so I won for that, and then it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I was winning for all these awards, and one of them, I won a San Francisco International Film Award while I was in a coma. For like, it was insane. Like I couldn't even be in San Francisco for it because I was in the hospital asleep. It was just crazy. It was crazy. So I'm having the most ridiculous year because it's a little over a year now. But like, I could easily not be here. I could easily, or not just not be here. I could be here, but in a way worse condition.
Yeah.
And
you could have been like a vegetable issue.
Basically. And I'm not. You know, I was like, God save me. Like, I'm just like, yo, I don't know if you believe in God or not. I don't know what God you believe in, but I believe in God, and God save me, because like I have cousins who are nurses, and when I was going through what I was going through, they gave the footage, like the like, oh, I forget what you call it, like the notes and like technical notes of like what my body went through, and they were giving it to specialists in their hospitals. The specialists were saying he's gonna die, or he's gonna be completely not normal, completely, like, you know. So they were preparing them for what could be because of how bad I was injured, and this is how I am right now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's insane. It's insane to be winning all these awards, and then even now, next week, I'm going to LA for an Oscars pre-party, and like they invited me to the Emmys, they invited me to the Grammys, and then now I'm going to the Oscars pre-party, you know, from LA today. You know, and it's insane. It's insane to just, like, you know, where all that happening for me. But like, I still have challenges. Like, I don't have a job, like, per se, because I've been out for so long recovering for over a year. But that's one thing I'm working on now. I'm actually looking to talk to some of the state agencies to be an editor for them. So, because I can do that at home.
Yeah.
I can edit video. You know, they can just send it to me and whatnot, and I can edit the video at home and send it to them. Yeah, and I could also, like, with what else happens, going to LA and networking for that, I could potentially be an editor or a writer or an actor or a director for somebody, you know, and knowing that it's just like, hey, this guy is walking around when he shouldn't be. It's crazy.
What was a coma like?
It felt,
if you don't mind me asking, what was the coma like?
What was the coma? Okay. It was like sleeping with no dream. So that's why when I woke up, I thought I was only sleeping for like 2 or 3 days. And then I woke up in the hospital. Yeah. Like that's why when I woke up, I was like, hey, can I go home? And that's when they...
You woke up feeling hella rested, huh?
Yes,
like, oh, man, this was like the best fucking sleep ever.
Something like that. Yeah. Something like that. Like I was way rested, but at the same time, like, yeah, I was like, there was no dream. Like there was no, I didn't see anything. I didn't have nothing, you know, I can't say I saw God or anything like that. But I can tell you is like God protected me, because like knowing that your C5, C6, and C7 vertebra are the back of your neck. It's right there. I fractured that. Like that could easily, the spinal cord could easily snap, and I could not be able to do any of this, walk around. And I've been dancing at clubs. I've been walking around, talking, light railing around. And it's just like, yo, that's not normal. That is not normal. Like, you know, and I even had, the funny thing is, the Uber drivers who I tell this stuff to. some of them call me Black Superman.
That's funny. You're not black.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
You're
I
not
know.
black.
They're not
All right.
black, but they call me Black Superman.
All right.
It's
So it's like,
funny.
well, you know, black people. All right, for sure.
Yeah.
So let's shift it a little bit. I don't want to get too heavy on like the traumatic
The
shit.
traumatic stuff.
But you
Yeah.
was for some like that's such a weird thing like for like filmmakers, bro, because like we'd be like it takes a lot to go into like making a film, making a short film, and then even just get it submitted to like film festivals and shit like that. And so you're like to see all the success happening,
Yeah.
but then like
And I could easily not be here for any of that.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's what's like not be there for any of it, but then also to wake up to that type of news and be all like,
Yeah.
it had to be something that was kind of like reassuring and just like, you know, you just felt
absolutely.
like, oh, okay, cool,
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know,
Mhm.
that's the thing. Like this is something I've been wanting to do for so long. I mean, I wrote my first screenplay at 19 years old. I'm 42 now. You know, like that was how damn it over 20 years ago.
Mhm.
You know, and then I've written 9 screenplays. One I was hired to write for somebody else. I don't know what he did with it, you know, because like he it was like somebody hit him up to write like a specific story for the man's name was Sully Garner. I'm not too sure if he's still alive. He was a survivor of the Holocaust.
Mhm.
I read his book, Light One Candle, and then I wrote the screenplay for it and gave it to my friend who had me do it. And I don't know what he did with it ever since. And so I'm hoping because at the time Sully that was 2011 I think when
Oh,
that
about like
happened.
the pilot?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And so like I don't know how I think Sully at the time was going to be 92, 93 years old. So it's 2020 what 5 now.
Mhm.
So like I don't know if Sully's still alive, but like they were trying to get that film made before he passed away so he could see like you know that
Did he
whatever.
die?
I don't know.
Oh, I was like, what like you made it sound like he did or something.
No,
I
he
was like,
didn't die in the Holocaust. He
no,
survived.
yeah, because he was the pilot, right?
Yeah, he
You talk about like what Sully are we talking about? The pilot dude?
No,
Let's say,
no.
Which Sully are we talking about?
His name is Sully Garner.
Okay.
He was he was 13 years old and he was in Auschwitz
Mm.
in the concentration camps.
Mm.
And like he had a life story that he wrote a book about. And then the book like somebody hit somebody and like it got to me. So I wrote the first draft of that screenplay and gave it to the person who had me do it for him. And then they paid me. They paid me for that. And then I was like, okay, cool. But like I never found out whatever happened to that story,
Mm.
if it was ever made.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that was something I did. That was one of the screenplays. But that was the only one I ever got paid to write. And he basically just paid me $500 because it took me a month to write.
Mm.
So I just wrote it in like 3.5 weeks, and I just sent it back to him, and he was like, "Here's $500."
Mm.
So I was like, "Okay."
And was this was that what when you was down in LA?
No, this
Oh.
was when I was back in Sacramento,
Oh, okay.
and it was about 2011 or 12 when it happened.
Oh, so this was before you went down to LA then?
No,
No, this was no. You wrote your first screenplay at 19, but
Yeah.
but this about the Sully guy happened on your way when you was
yeah,
back in
this
LA.
was like my 8th screenplay when I wrote.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And so, what is your process like being like a screenwriter when it comes to writing for yourself
Mhm.
compared to like somebody else wanting to write for you? What's your process like?
Well, when I'm writing for myself, I think up stories all the time, and I'm saving stories. I'm saving ideas that I want to use for something in the future, and I just keep it in my memory and just hold on to it until I find pieces where it'll fit. Or and then been doing is because I'm an independent filmmaker myself. What I've been doing, I look for actors, actresses, and people who I can like use to tell the story that I already have. And so when I meet these people or know these people could be great for that, I try to reach out to them and get them involved early so that they know I'm writing it for them.
Mm.
And then I'll write the story all the way through. It takes me about 3.5, 4 weeks to write from 0 pages all the way to 120 pages, about 4 weeks. I write, just go ahead and write all the way through and then send it to them. And if they like it, we try to work on and make it. But like the full length screenplays I've written, I haven't had too much success in getting it made because I don't have like the type of network that has the money to
Mm,
finance projects that are two, three, four, $500,000 to make.
yeah.
But like for the what I've been doing is now the short films. I've been financing that myself with my own money. I've been financing my own short films and producing it and doing exactly what I told you. I already have some of these stories in my head, and then I meet an actress or I meet somebody somewhere, and then it makes me think, oh, I think I could get this person to play this role I already have in a story I have. And then I just tell them, pitch it to them. And if they accept, I write it. I write it for them, and then we work on it and we do it. Yeah.
Okay. And so the short films that you said that you had going on
Hmm.
during the when you was going through your whole like the coma period and all that
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
stuff, you had two films going on around at the time that was being
yeah,
submitted.
yeah.
What were the films?
It was one is a comedy called Funny Girl Fuck Buddy.
Mm,
So it's a ridiculous comedy about two comedians who like each other, but like they start a relationship, but after a while, they they kind of like find out about, or the man finds out about the girl's past, and he can't live with like the ex-boyfriend like things that he's finding out, so he starts panicking, and it that causes the drama that breaks up the relationship. And so that's what Funny Girl Fuck Buddy's about. But
as man, how'd you come up? Because I remember you used to tell me with that the title stuff.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, man, what the fuck kind of title? So we could cuss on the podcast and shit. But I was like,
yeah.
what the fuck kind of title is called Funny Girl Fuck Buddy? So how did you come up with that title?
I thought, well, it was just because uh, funny girl, because we're comedians, so it's like she's a female comedian. My character is a male comedian, and so it's like, okay, so she's a funny girl,
Mm.
and then like I hooked up with her, so it's like fuck buddy. So I just thought it would be, and then there is a movie called Funny Girl with Barbara Streisand, I think,
Mm.
and like it's just I thought it was funny to title that Funny Girl Fuck Buddy as just like a nod to that, but then twisting it around to make it something comedic.
Okay, sure. What was the what? Because I remember when you was doing the research for this and stuff like that, you was hitting up like the open mics and
You told me not to do it. You told me not to do that.
Yeah, I told you not to do that title and
Yeah.
shit, bro. But like, it's whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, you do it, man. I ain't mad at it. It's getting submitted to film festival. I was wrong. I'll admit it. But no, the process like you, because you don't normally do stand up comedy. You just
No, I
kind of
don't.
did comedy.
Yeah.
You did stand up comedy in order to do the like for the research, the
Yeah.
backstory, and all this type of
Exactly.
stuff for the
Exactly.
characters and stuff like that. What did you grasp? What did you take away from your time doing stand up comedy? What did you take away from being
I thought
from that comedy world?
I enjoyed my time like doing all the open mics, and then I got my start with Lance Woods.
Mm.
Like he,
Shout out to Lance Woods. Lance Woods was like the very first guest we had on the show. He helped me launch the podcast. So yeah, shout out to
Lance,
yeah, he was there. You was
Oh
there
yeah,
when we
yeah,
recorded.
and then John Q, right?
Yeah, John Q. Yeah, man. Shout out to Lance Woods and John Q. They helped me. They was very instrumental in me launching my podcast. So thank you to the both of y'all. But it was, are you saying?
Yeah, no, I met Lance because I was working for the Sacramento Kings. I was in guest services. So I would see Lance come in, and I would always come up to Lance and I would talk to him. I would be like, yo, what's up, Lance? And you just talk, and we just, go back and forth joking or whatever. And then about 2 years later, I was going to do like a short film that I needed a stand up, like, like role, not role, but like a scene in like a club where stand up, where my character is doing stand up.
Mhm.
So I asked Lance. I said, "Hey, Lance, can I open for you one night, somewhere, and like just record it to use it for my like short film or whatever?"
Mhm.
And he was just like, "Yeah, why not? I don't care." And so he did. He let me do it, but I had to talk to Live Nation because it was at the Punchline,
Mhm.
and so I had to get it cleared with Live Nation before I could do it. And so I did. I cleared it with Live Nation, and then it was insane. It was insane. I opened for Lance Woods at the Punchline in Sacramento. That was the first time I ever did stand-up comedy. Like most people
first time at stage is like I'm at a bar, you know, so I'm at open mic. Let me just put my name on this list. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, that's what's up.
That's insane. That is an insane first time doing like, you know, stand-up comedy. Well, I enjoyed it so much. I started going around and doing stand-up comedy all around Sacramento at different places that were doing stand-up comedy now, open mics. And that's, I know I met you somewhere.
Was it an open mic? Was it an open mic that I met you?
It might have been. It had to have been an open mic. Yeah.
Maybe Marcia introduced us or something like that. I don't fucking know.
Somebody.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna get to we're gonna figure it out. The further we get down into this podcast, we're gonna figure out how this whole thing happened. But anyways, continue. You talk about do the.
Well, yeah. I started for about a year and a half. I was almost every week at least one open mic at least, and then you started an open mic at
the Cornerstone. Shout out to the Cornerstone.
And I started. I went to that. Yeah. I was going to that too. So like, you know, I already knew you at that time. And then we were talking. That you were like, hey, just come to the Cornerstone. I was like, yeah, I'll come to the Cornerstone. And I was doing open mics and just saying a bunch of ridiculous shit.
Yeah. The Cornerstone open mic, man. We had the Cornerstone open mic fucking lit, bro. Like for being an open mic, especially. Were you there when we was doing it in the back patio?
Yes, the back patio was fucking lit, bro.
We had what was it, Cantina Alley?
Yeah.
Cantina Alley was fucking pissed at us, man. They hated us. They hated us. We was taking all their customers and shit. Like they would be going down to Cantina Alley or whatever, and then they would look and they would just see like an open mic going on. Like, what's this going on?
And
like,
they'd walk into it.
Yeah, walk into it. They was mad. We was having like competitions like with DJ Anna with his speaker, and then like the Cantina Alley was competing with their DJ. It was funny. Yeah, the police got called.
The police got called.
Police got
That's
called.
why it got shut down.
That's why I got shut down. Yeah, please. I wasn't there. Like somebody just called me up and shit like that. Like that was funny. That was wild because like Lamar, like you remember how Lamar's always like trying to be as like calm, cool, and collected as possible and shit like that. That was the very first time because I was doing I was doing a 420 show out in Oakland, and he had called me up like on my way back to Oakland. That motherfucker was just freaking the fuck out. Oh my god, police here! They canceled over, and then I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Bro?
Oh shit, that's what happened. Damn,
that's what
I
happened.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, police came in, shut our shit the fuck down. So anyway, so you're taking a funny girl fuck buddy. It's you doing the research, hit it up the different open mics and all that type of jazz.
Yeah, I did the research to play that character.
You felt it helped? Like you did?
Oh, absolutely, it helped, and it makes it's to this day. Like if I want to, I'll do some more open mics and get back into the comedy scene. But it's not like I'm getting paid for it or anything. So it's like I don't consider myself a stand-up comedian. But at the same time,
there's a lot of people not getting paid to do stand-up comedy that consider themselves stand-up comedians. So don't worry about that. That's no worries. No worries at all about that.
That's funny. That's funny.
No, I'm just joking. But being for real. No, but so like a title like that, Funny Girl Fuck Buddy, what was it like submitting it to film festivals? And were they receptive? Did they say? Did they give you any pushback about the title?
No, there was no pushback.
Dope,
there was no pushback.
Dope.
Because they knew, like when I wrote on the thing in Film Freeway explaining it, like it's two comedians who meet, and then and then that's the thing about Film Freeway too. They can watch your short film like the whole way through when you have it on there, and so they can see it and watch it and then decide, is this something I want in my festival? I'll reach out to this filmmaker. I'll offer them discounts or even a waiver. If they feel like it's good enough to receive a waiver, you can get a waiver for it. So it doesn't even cost you anything to submit to them. So that it got into about 4 festivals on a full waiver. So that was cool. But like, it was shot on an iPhone. That's the thing. We used an iPhone as our main camera. And like, if you watch that short film, it looks like a straight short film straight up, and so it makes it's done like my Ethan Askelson was my DP and assistant director, and he made it look like what it needed to look like. We won for best mobile phone short film at the San Francisco International Film Awards.
Nice.
And that while I was in a coma.
That's the big one, right? That's the big San Francisco Film Festival,
yeah,
right?
that's a big one.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
that's a big one. Yeah, so that's like, are you serious? Like, I couldn't even be in San Francisco for that, but like, so that's what happened. Yeah, it was crazy.
And how many film festivals did that get submitted for, like total altogether?
Maybe about 20, and it got into about 11.
Nice. That's you bet. Yeah, that's over 500. That over 50%.
Yeah,
that's dope. That's good to see the success.
Yeah.
And then what was the other film that you had?
Dirty Games.
Dirty Games.
Dirty Games is a story about an actress who, like, what's it called, was dating a writer, goes back into the writer's life, and because he wrote like a story that highly alluded to her, and so she wanted to get back into his life for a reason, and he's already dating a new actress and tries to like work her way in there and like what's it, like tempt him to leave her, his current girlfriend, and go back to her. But it turns out she was playing him the whole time. So it was a crazy story. But that one won me awards all in Milan, in the International Gold Awards, the Hollywood Golden Age Awards, like all, and it got into in New York, the New York Film Awards, the LA Film Awards. It got in. It didn't win, but it got in.
But it was there.
It was there, and it was a semi-finalist in Melbourne, Australia, in Korea, in China, in Tokyo. This is what I mean. I was getting into festivals all around the world, but I couldn't go because like I was spending the year recovering from my accident, and I'm happy to say I'm fully recovered.
Yeah.
It's just, and then still reaping rewards, and like technically I can still submit those two films to film festivals all around the world right now, and I still get hit up because the ones that I won awards with, they're telling me like, yeah, submit something else to us. We'll give you guaranteed selection. We'll give you this. We'll give you that. We want something else you make. I'm like, where the fuck were you guys a couple years ago?
Yeah. Where were you at when I was like mobile?
Yeah, when I was all good. When I was all good.
Yeah, before the traumatic injuries.
Seriously.
So what kind of research did you go with to make it like the movie, like Dirty Games? You played a whole bunch of women and shit?
Was I playing a whole bunch of women? No.
You was lying to them and shit?
I was lying to a bunch of, no. I didn't have to do research for that. I just thought it would be funny to just, like, as a guy, you're dating somebody new, and then you see somebody you were dating in the past that you were okay with, but you broke up. You broke up for a reason. But there's still something there because you were dating them at some point. I just put that into the same collective of like, hey, what would a guy feel? Well, knowing that you're dating somebody new, there's somebody in the past that likes you or whatever, and it didn't work out then. Well, what the heck is going on? She's coming back into my life and like throwing herself at me in a way. Just the temptation to that. That's what I was playing off of when I was acting that. I was just like, okay, I'll just play that, and then I won't ruin the surprise of like what happens in that short film, but there's some depth and like crazy things that happen because of that scenario. There you go.
No, I see that. I remember I saw it a couple times. It was definitely pretty twisted. It reminded me of like about like it felt like it was something like a true crime documentary. You said like this story right here could have been like a true crime documentary of like all these twisted turns of scorned lovers and all this type of shit. It was
that's how that, and the thing is, I'm proud of that because I met Wei Jen Lao in the San Francisco at the Clout Film Festival in San Francisco. My film, one of my films, Addiction, won at that festival, and I think she won for Best Actress. And like I saw her and I was like, this girl's pretty, she's talented, I'm gonna get her information. So I got her number, and then 2 days later after that festival I called her and told her like, hey, I have a story about like that, like, about like you're an actress, I'm a writer or something, and I'm dating somebody else, but you're trying to come back into my life. I'll write this story for you to play the lead role. And she thought, okay, that's something I've never had, because she told me for the longest time she kept playing roles of the nanny, the nurse, the neighbor. She was never that type of character, so it was new for her. That's something I want to tell writers right there.
Mm.
If you really want to get somebody like to work with you, if you have the ability to write them something that they have never done before and they're interested in, that helps.
Mm.
That's how I got her. And so I wrote that role for her, and then a couple of days later when I was done, I sent it to her and she loved it. And we literally 2.5, 3 weeks later, she came to Sacramento and we shot it.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting because I heard similar story like that. Because when I worked on Fruitvale Station, like Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And Ryan Coogler was just talking about like what he kind of did to kind of like get Michael B. Jordan like on board, to play in the character. And he would say that like the writing process. One, it was something different that Michael B. Jordan had never, like a character he had
Yes.
never played before.
Yes.
Oscar Grant telling a true story, and then also like he incorporated like aspects that he knew about Michael B. Jordan's life
Mm-hmm.
into the screenplay. So then when he's reading it, he's like, oh, I can really relate to this character,
Yeah.
And like a lot of, because is that something that you feel like screenwriters do? Like if you
That is a smart screenwriter right there. That is a smart screenwriter, because like you have to know that. Here's the thing. There's so many scripts written every day. There's scripts being finished. There, even right now, a script just got finished right now. Somebody just finished a script right now. Well, you don't know how good it is. You don't know what entails, what the different things that are in that story. And they sometimes they mess around and they have things that don't make sense in, like, for the characters. There's not enough depth for characters. It's very cliche or whatever. It happens all the time. You've seen it over and over again. These are all things that's going to make an actor not want to work with it, because it's like, I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen, or I've done this. I've done this. I've done this. They're going to keep thinking I want to keep doing things like this. There are some actors that are willing to do that. Why? Because of the amount you're paying them.
Yeah.
When Miramax, when Universal, when these companies toss millions of dollars at you, it's going to make you reconsider whatever the fuck they're trying to throw your way.
Yeah.
But not all the time are they being offered roles that give them a 6-figure, 7-figure payday. That's not every day. That's not all the time. And so that's one way that the A-list and big actors get what they get, because of how well known they are, how talented they are. They're being given roles and they're being thrown so much money that they have to consider doing it. But like, if you are a writer that doesn't have that kind of access to that kind of money, no connections, the best way to make your role good for your actor is what I just told you earlier. I have stories in my head, multiple, like 15, 20 stories in my head that are pieces of stories that are just, I'm going to write someday for somebody. I like writing for people.
Yeah.
I like, because it gives them the ownership of okay, this writer is now told me the story of whatever, and I like the general gist of the story. Now I want to see how he writes my character for this role, and see the dialogue I'm saying, see the actions I'm taking, and all of that. When I see all of those things, I can really consider, is this something I want to do? But what I've been doing is I get them to commit to me before I even write it. So when I'm writing it, it's almost like they have a piece of the writing
like
process.
A puzzle or something.
Yeah, it's a piece. It's a piece of the puzzle. Like, and it's just like, it makes it so good. Like that's why I felt like those two short films that I did, Funny Girl Fuck Buddy and Dirty Dirty Games, was so good because both actresses had a piece of my writing process, and both of their performances were good. I mean, Deanna didn't win for Funny Girl Fuck Buddy, but her
But she
performance
still
was,
did a good
yeah,
job, though. Yeah.
but she still did a really good job.
Mhm.
And then Wei Jin won. She was a finalist in Korea for Best Actress, and she won in Milan for Best Actress.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and that makes me even feel better because as a writer director, I helped you. I did my job in getting my actress that kind of recognition, that kind of support, that kind of performance.
Mm-hmm. So, take it like that same similar mentality, like being like a screenwriter. Okay, I'm gonna write something. If I have an actor in mind, I'm gonna write it tailored towards that actor.
Mm-hmm.
Is there some sort of like way where we could take that same sort of process as filmmakers up here in Sacramento? Because a lot of times we like try to be like, oh, we got a piece to LA, or we try to do something to like bring like we try to bring Hollywood up here and shit like that. But like I feel like one of the big missteps that we have up here as filmmakers is we make stuff that we want to see compared to stuff that like the movie studios want to be seen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that's the same sort of approach that we should start taking like for filmmakers up here? If our goal is to be like Hollywood and be this big movie studio, it's like we should make rather than make it, because a lot of actors say, well, this is because it's something that they're so passionate about. They think that everybody's gonna be passionate about it. Whereas all like, no, I should make something that it may not, like just making a movie should be passionate enough, but make it something that that like if it's for I want to get onto these streaming services or get to certain wherever it may be, you kind of have to write something that they'll say yes to, that they'll want to put on their platform.
I believe I make the films that I want to make because I'm trying to tell the best story in that world that I created for that. Like I'm just trying to tell the best story I can in everything I do. Like I could care less if nobody likes it or whatnot, but when other people do like it and it shows, and I'm getting the feedback, I'm winning awards and all that stuff. It lets me know that my like feel and my what do you call that? Like just different things that like you cater to as a storyteller is something that people like. Like and all I can do is just write the best stories I can write with the best people I can get to act in it and tell the story the best way possible, present it the best way, and then let it happen from there.
Let me see a microphone.
Sure.
I think it died. We're just checking. I'm gonna just charge it real quickly. It's all good. No worries. Well, no, you keep on talking this shit, or did you just turn it off? I think you just turned it off. Oh. Okay, for sure. No worries. So no, that's good that I want to hear your opinion on that, because like I said, a lot of filmmakers up here have this whole
trying to be
LA, trying to be Hollywood, trying to be this and that.
I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm just trying to tell the best stories I can tell with what because I think I as an independent.
Fucking died. I'm just charging. Keep talking. It's all good.
As an independent filmmaker, like I don't have access to guys with millions of dollars that we could just go and like spend 9 days, spend 2 weeks shooting a film somewhere, for like all kinds of money, and like get it produced and get it distributed. Because that's the other thing. It's one thing to make a movie, getting distribution for your movie is another thing.
Yeah.
Like for it to actually be seen and be shown. But I got lucky. I have a Roku deal for my short films, and if I make a feature film, I can get it to Roku for the Roku channel and things like that for a feature. But like there's also Tubi and there's also other platforms, but it just you need a distributor to be, and if you can get it shown in theaters and get the old platform of that, that's one way to make money. Because like I've been told like from other filmmakers that they make films, they have it, they take it to a theater, they rent out a theater for X amount of weekends for I don't know how many weekends in a row or whatever. They show it. They have their cast there signing autographs or whatever, like putting it out, and then they make like they're distributing it themselves.
Yeah.
It costs money for that.
Oh yeah.
It costs money for all of that.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. Like, a lot of people don't have that kind of access and money. So that's why when it comes to like filmmaking for me, I'm just trying to make the best films I can make and let it, I get it out to as best ways I can get it out and show as many people as I can show. And then from there, if I can get the network and build my network to get people who have access to that kind of money, who have access to that kind of other things, well, then when that day comes, well, I would like to jump and cross that bridge, but I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
But I'm trying, Yeah.
That's the next thing I wanted to ask you about was, like I said, because they're speaking from like a up here Sacramento perspective and stuff like that. Because you've been down to LA, stuff like that. I'm gonna get into that in a little bit too. So you kind of have that seeing both sides of it, from being in Northern California, being in Southern California, stuff like that. With, like I said, I feel like a lot of up here, it's like I said, everybody's like, it's all about like, the art of it, or say, of course, they want to show it off, show it off to people, but like up here, like our main intention is like making the best piece of art, that, which is, like I say, nothing wrong with that, but like, I make the best film possible, make the best film possible, make the best film I can make possible, the most artistic thing possible. But then when it comes to like the business side of it, which now is like the post-production and like marketing and, like I say, distribution, getting it out there and stuff like that, that's one of the parts where I feel like we lack. Like I said, the access, we don't have the access to it. Say we don't have the money for it. We don't have the knowledge of how important, truly important, like marketing is, in order to get it.
It's at least 50% of the budget.
Yeah. Like that's what I tell people all the time. Like whatever it is that, like, whatever your budget is for the movie, to actually get it made, you better be willing to at least put 50% up for that.
For marketing.
Just for marketing, just to get it out there for people to see it. And
for people to know.
Yeah, that right there is like,
you could have made what is that freaking like what did Orson Welles make again? I can't remember right now. It was Citizen Kane. You could make Citizen Kane again, and like a movie like that innovative and that great. If nobody knows about it, nobody knows where to see it, nobody knows anything, you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays, the marketing is huge.
And then another thing that's kind of changed, like with the marketing, is like, or at least that's the way we feel we need to put out like movies and stuff like that. Social media has changed everything so much too, to where like it's like social media has changed the game so much that people forget that like the old school way of doing things is still there. And not only that it's still there, it's still very much like the blueprint for like how these industries still work and operate. They just will take like what the next popular person is doing that doesn't have the access to the distribution, doesn't have the knowledge of the distribution, doesn't have the money for the distribution, shit like that. They have all those things, so they'll just take whatever they see them doing that's working, and then they'll just put the money behind it for themselves and kind of just like take it over. So I said, so the old school way of doing things, like if you want to go out to these film festivals, these I guess you call it like door-to-door sales, but like I said, going to these film festivals, being in front of these people's faces, that's still the most important thing as far as like getting out there. If you want to get as a filmmaker, if you want to get your film seen and get some sort of recognition and stuff like that, it started to lean towards social media, but it's not there yet. But you kind of start to see the change that's happening. And then so besides that, then you had LA, bro. Let's talk about LA for a little bit of stuff like that. Let's talk about LA, because you're headed down to LA for
Oscars pre-party.
How did this come around?
Well, that's just it. Like September last year, So I got hit up. I got an email from a guy from LA Live, like the company that also runs Crypto Arena,
Mm-hmm.
and he told me. He said, "Hey, this isn't. We're inviting you to come see the Emmys."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Okay, how much is that?" And they were like, $550 is the cheapest ticket, but the ticket like I would want you to get is about 1,200. I was like, I told him, I said, "Oh, man, I don't have a ride to LA, and I don't think I have the money to get to get that ticket." And he goes, "You know what? That's ridiculous because somebody gave me your information to like he didn't tell me who it was that gave him my information, but he said, okay, because you can't come to the Emmys, that's one thing, but when the Grammys and the Academy Awards come around, we'll see." And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, yeah, we'll see. And so I kept his number. Uh, then February comes around, like late January comes around. I get invited to the Grammys,
Mm-hmm.
and like same guy Narby, his nickname is Narby.
Okay.
But like Narby hits me up, and I call him. I'm like, "Is this real? You inviting me to the Grammys?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "But the cheapest ticket to the Grammys because of the fires in LA, the cheapest ticket was $3,000.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford that. If I couldn't afford 550 for the Emmys, there's no way I can afford $3,000
Mm.
for the Grammys."
Yeah.
But then he told me again. He goes, "Oh my god." He goes like he said, there are people like telling me to keep inviting you to these things, but we'll see what I can do. He said, all he said is, "We'll see what I can do for the Academy Awards." I was like, "Are you serious?" And he said, "Yeah." And then about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I got the invite from LA Today saying that, "Hey, come to the LA Today pre-Oscars party and just RSVP for this." And I was like, "Oh shit, RSVP immediately."
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And then did that because I was like, yeah, that they've been trying to, and it's been happening like more, like it happened with the first one, it was Addiction,
Mm.
and then but like they were just giving me invites to different movies that they were showing, and then they were having like the cast and crew like watch the movie with the audience, and you would have a Q&A and you could meet the cast. But I wasn't going because it was in LA, and I didn't at the time I wasn't willing to drive to LA. But like
Mm.
I really didn't understand that kind of connection that they were already sending me. But then they, when they start inviting me to the freaking awards, the Emmys, the Grammys, and the Academy Awards, okay, I'm going to try to find a way to go to that,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, because that's not just a movie to watch or whatever. That is a ridiculous networking opportunity, and I know you're going to be there too. So
Yeah. I'm trying to make the trip down to LA with y'all, man. I'm trying to make that shit happen, bro.
yeah,
So,
that would be ridiculous.
yeah,
That
that'd
would
be
be
dope.
ridiculous.
Oscars, Academy Awards, Buddy and James walk the red carpet. That's
That'd be insane.
we put it out there in the air, man. But nah, knock on wood, we
Yeah.
put that out the air. No, I don't know if that's what you're supposed to knock on wood for, but we just knock on wood anyways. Yeah, we're putting that into the atmosphere, bro. We'll be at the Academy Awards here with the next 2 to 3 years doing something. So
Yeah.
so that was you're going back to LA. You was originally down in LA for a little while and stuff like that. What are you
2005, I moved to LA. I was 22 years old.
Mm.
I moved to LA. I moved to Irvine.
Mm.
So that's south of LA. That's Orange County.
Mm.
I was there for 3 years, but like things didn't work out for me too well.
Mm.
And so I ended up moving back up here. But while I was down
I don't
there,
want to talk about too much of the next stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We
no,
can
no.
get to, but yeah.
No, well, what happened was I was doing extra work.
Mm.
So I was on ER, CSI, Alias. I was a background extra on those TV shows.
Mm.
And then on the movie Bring It On, All or Nothing, I'm in that.
Was that with Solange?
Yes, with Solange and Hayden Panettiere. Rihanna was in that movie too.
Yeah, she was. She was.
That's the only movie.
Were you on the
Rihanna,
set that she was in?
I was not on set
Okay.
when she was there. That would have been ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny.
What was it like being an extra down in LA?
It was cool, but like the thing was,
Were they assholes? Were the people rude? Was they being, or did you feel like the competitive spirit?
from what I could see, like everybody was okay. Like I had no issues with anybody.
Mm.
My problem was I lived in Irvine, and the actual like sets
Yeah.
were Altadena, Pasadena, you know, like
Mhm.
or wherever else, all around LA. And then the drive from my house to there, I would leave at 4 in the morning to get to where I needed to get to because of traffic, because of how far I would need a 2 hour commute
Yeah.
to get to work to be an extra.
Yeah.
And then I showed up like 2 minutes late one time for that movie, to Bring It On All or Nothing.
Yeah.
And then they told me, you can't work today.
Yeah.
I was like, are you serious? Like I drove from Irvine, and there was, what can I can't do anything about the traffic. I can't do anything about all that. What are you trying to tell me to do? Leave at 3 in the morning? Don't sleep? And just like, it just didn't
In
make
LA, they
sense.
probably would though. But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like how like the difference and stuff like that. Like if you're up here and you don't ever want to be late
Yeah.
to like a set, but like
Yeah.
up here in the Bay Area,
Uh-huh.
like if you're late, they'll get on you about it, but they're not gonna be all like, especially like 2 minutes. They'll be
Yeah.
like, hey, hurry up to set. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to get here right now. But to
Mhm.
be all like, to show up and then for them to be all like, hey man, no, don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
that's what they did
That's
to me.
that's the difference between like LA and like
And
and
San
San
Francisco.
Francisco. And like the drive from like how you say where you got to get to, that's very similar to the drive from like
Oh, from you,
Sacramento to the
yeah.
Bay Area. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just like to San Francisco, San Jose.
Yeah.
That's about the same. Like
2 hours.
2 hours.
About
Yeah,
2
that's about
hours.
the same
Yeah.
drive. Like that's the one thing about
Especially in
LA.
the morning like that.
Yeah.
Especially with all the cars going to work and
Mhm.
all that stuff. It
Yeah.
takes about
Did you get any SAG vouchers working on that?
I did not. I think I was supposed to, but I only worked 2 days,
Mm,
and I needed to work that third day, the day that they took me off.
yeah.
That would have gave me the SAG voucher to be SAG probably.
Mm, okay.
And
Interesting.
so I got
Mm.
eliminated before I could be
You got
SAG.
eliminated before you had a chance to actually get up
Be
in the game.
SAG, yeah, exactly.
But you're a screenwriter though. That's not really your goal to
Mhm.
like be SAG. You just do it because that's what filmmakers do to make money,
Yeah,
to make a
yeah,
living down there. They
yeah,
do extra work.
yeah.
And extra work is cool because like I said, it's very chill, it's low maintenance,
hmm
low responsibility.
Yeah.
Very little so little responsibility, it's almost so easy to get in trouble being an extra because there's all you have to do is just sit down and be quiet. But for some reason,
Mm.
being an extra, that is the hardest thing in the world. Is to just sit down and to shut the fuck up. Like, it's be the one thing, especially like when you're like in that atmosphere and there's a whole bunch of like there may be like celebrities around or something like that.
Mm.
You're just in it's hard to be quiet,
Mm.
but like that's the one thing you got. That's like being an extra. It's so easy, low maintenance, low responsibility, but it's entry level work
Yeah.
into the business.
Into the business.
So you wanted to be like a screenwriter. It makes sense because just being an extra, now you can hop in, you could do like PA work or something
Mm.
like that, and then from there, now you can jump in like with the script supervisor. Now you can be on the script supervisor team. You be on the camera team, camera
Yeah,
department,
exactly.
and work your way up. And then not only that, but I mean, there's people that these filmmakers that you see on these movie sets, they all have aspirations to make movies of their own too, or at least
Yeah.
collaborate with other filmmakers. And then they have the best thing about them is they have not only access to the equipment, but they also have access to the knowledge of what you're talking about to make
Mm.
a quality film. You know,
Yeah.
to actually to help you see your project through the way you want to see it. Because you could come out and be all, let me just pick this guy, I mean, I know this not this guy's responsibility, but here he could do this now and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And now you got a whole bunch of I don't want to say inexperienced people, but inexperienced people working on your film, and it's something that you're so passionate about, and they may not have this, they may have be passionate about filmmaking, but they're not passionate about making your film. They're like, I'm just here to work, but then they don't have the work experience
Mhm.
to satisfy you as a filmmaker. So now there's just this big old headbutt of like, make my damn movie, and then they're like, well, we just don't know what the hell we're doing.
Mhm.
You know, so that's one of the benefits that you get too from working on these major film sets is
Yeah,
you get
to
to
see
see
it,
you get
to
to
see
see
it.
what professionalism looks like.
Yeah.
You get to see how it's done. You get to see the difference between, I mean, even though you're non-union, you're working on a union project. You get to see the the level of professionalism and what it takes to actually get this done. To where, like, if you want to go on ahead and make, like, you can still do non-union projects, that's no problem. But seeing the professionalism that it takes to make a union project, you could take those same things and make your union projects, make it just be professional. When I say professional, I don't mean like these big cameras and lights and all that type of stuff. I mean professional, like how are you treating people on set? You know, things like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
No, it makes
yeah,
sense.
okay,
It makes
cool.
sense.
So, so right now, man, yeah, you going down to LA, cool. We got that. Right now, we gonna kick it to my favorite part of the show. You know what it is? That's right, y'all. It is time for the boom Mount Rushmore, y'all. Mount Rushmore. And you know how we do the Mount Rushmore every episode. I give our guests their a subject or something like that. They gotta give their top 4 of whatever that may be and stuff like that. So right now we got James on his phone, but it's all good. You ready to play the Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
Okay, so for sure. So for this Mount Rushmore, what we are going to do, man, you've been traveling all around the country and all that type of stuff. You had a lot of film festivals played over in Asia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we are going to do your Mount Rushmore. It's going to be a little stereotypical, my bad. But it's going to be your top 4 Asian American filmmakers.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go with first. I'll start with Akira Kurosawa, the Japanese director that, like, you know, what he did, Seven Samurai and like other things. I forget the Yojimbo and what else. Like, he's got so many. He's an amazing guy, like amazing, like, director. And then I to make sure I have this guy's
I thought you would make sure you
the names right. Yeah. Um, the director who made Parasite, the Korean director Bong Joon-ho, Bong Joon-ho. That film is amazing, and I can't wait to see what else he makes. So, like, that's the next, and then Wong Kar-wai, and then I forget if Wong Kar-wai is Chinese or I can't remember if he's Korean or Chinese, but like, and then uh, John Woo.
Is that John Woo?
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you John Woo. John Woo class. That's probably the only person that I do with stuff. But
Okay.
that's why that's good. That's why I asked the people to Mount Rushmore, because I want to know what inspires you.
Yeah.
So that way you can put me up on game and educate me on all these filmmakers that I don't know, because there's so many of them and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So John Woo, I'm familiar with his work.
Mm-hmm.
Was that Crouching Tiger?
Crouching Tiger. I don't know if John Woo did that.
Yeah.
Sure. No, Crouching Tiger is somebody else.
That was somebody else. I'm gonna go look it up. But I swear I have seen some of his films though. Yeah. But yeah, go through the list one more time.
The list is Akira Kurosawa, Bong Joon-ho, Wong Kar-wai, and John Woo.
Okay. And then so give a breakdown on like why each of these people.
Okay. Kurosawa is probably like he's one of the greats. Like one of the greatest like directors. He made films in the 60s, 50s, 60s. And like when I was in film school, I was learning his films. And then Bong Joon-ho, like the Parasite director, I felt that film is so strong in what he did. I'm just curious to see what else he'll do, because he's so good. And then Wong Kar-wai, same thing. Like his films too have like different like vibes to it that just keep you going. And then John Woo is just like the action. Like, this motherfucking guy makes action films like you wouldn't believe.
And that's the reason.
Yeah, that's the reason for those 4. If you're gonna go Asian, those are the 4.
I'm gonna look up John Woo because I know I'm trying to figure out which.
He did which one was it? John Woo did one with good God, he's done a big one that's I forget it.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'll look him up though. So we'll, yeah. Yeah. All right. No worries. All right. Cool.
Okay.
So those are the people that you had going on and stuff all like that. Before we do wrap up this here episode, was there anything else that you wanted to let the people know, James?
Well, other than happy to be alive and
Yeah. Go ahead.
everything that's going on, and like continue to just make films and be in this condition, because again, you just watched me speak for I don't know how long I've been speaking, and I for me to be able to articulate myself like this, remember, I have permanent brain damage. My brain was bleeding and I could easily be dead and like not even be able to talk, not even be able to communicate anything or remember anything. That's it's a miracle that I'm even in this condition. I'm just grateful and thank God every moment of the day, and just every new person I meet, every new experience. Thank you. Thank you. I could easily not be here for any of this. So how can I just be more grateful and, thank doing your show.
Yeah, man, I
There you go.
appreciate you. And
Yeah.
tell people where they can follow you at, where they can find James Paul Nelson.
On IG, it's James DA Great 916. So James the Great 916. And then I'm on Facebook. You can find me. Just search James Paul Nelson, and you're gonna find me there. And on Twitter, I think it's James Paul. It's James Nelson 916.
And then one more time, what was the name of the Roku channel where people can watch your movie at?
You can watch the Roku channels are Scenes Plus and Fancy a Movie. So if you have a Roku TV or a Roku plug-in device, I forget what you call those things, but like you can download that channel, Scenes Plus or Fancy a Movie. On Fancy a Movie, I actually have my own queue that it shows you 6 or 7 of my short films, and it'll play them all. If you wanted to play them all together at the same time, all the way through, you could do it. And then, yeah, uh, that's what my Roku deal so far.
Sure. And then you know me, man, Buddy Rahming. You can catch me at Yeah Buddy ENT, everything social media. You can catch me at Yeah Buddy Entertainment on YouTube. And of course, you can always go to the website, www.yeahbuddyent.com. And if you want to listen to the podcast, you can listen to us on all streaming platforms, everything from Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. And then yeah, man, that was it, y'all. This was the Yeah Buddy podcast. Thank you. Like I said again, if this is your first time tuning into the podcast, thank you for tuning in and check it out. If you are a returning friend to the podcast, hey man, welcome back. I'm glad to see you back here again. And then thanks for that. And then like I said, you can follow us everywhere. We'll be back next week and all that good stuff, man. Keep us in your prayers. We will do the same for you. Please, everybody, stay blessed out there. Stay safe. It's a crazy ass world, and I want to see y'all back here for the next episode. So I will catch y'all then. Deuces. There you go.